right. Thank you for tuning in to another episode, rocking with you here on a beautiful Monday. Have to get to the just chess move that my man KD played today. KD came on and said, listen, check this out, baby. I'll stay, but you got to fire Steve Nash and and Sean Marks. Now, remember, Joe Tsai came to KD and Kyrie and said, listen, your days of telling us what to do are over. Y'all have to follow in line. We are the administration. Y'all are the players. Y'all handle your business on the court. We handle our business other places, right? Kyrie subsequently tries to move out. KD subsequently asks for a trade. The Nets act for the moon, and no one's willing to give to him. And everybody's saying they're trying to wait the clock out. KD's too professional. He's going to play. KD comes with the biggest chess move of all, saying, fire these two guys. And what that does is it puts so much toxic nuclear waste into the atmosphere that there's no way that you can return. You can't have, because remember, I started this off saying that Joe Tsai told them that, hey, you guys are not running the organization. If he fires Steve Nash and Sean Marks, they are running the organization still, right? Because you weren't going to do that. If you would have did it, you would have done it by now, right? And then on the flip side, if they try to bring KD back, you can't be doing training camp with your GM and your coach knowing that your star player wants to get you fired. You can't do that. It's untenable. KD today made the situation untenable. I think they were really going to try to run out the clock, and I think he was done with that. So now it looks like the Celtics are the front runner. You're going to trade Jaylen Brown, and it looks like they're the front runner. It's interesting because I think Boston would embrace him. He's truly not embraced by any of the former teams that he played for. He's not going to be embraced by Brooklyn, not embraced by the Warriors, damn sure not embraced by Oklahoma City. So I think Boston will embrace him like he hasn't been embraced before. I think now on the Brooklyn side of the thing, it looks like they're going to have to make this trade. And like I said from the beginning, I didn't understand why they were so hesitant to make this trade. I know they were trying to get quote unquote fair value. But in life, when you make mistakes, you have to pay for those mistakes. They were looking for a get out of jail free card. They're the ones that allowed KD and Kyrie to run rampant through the franchise, to bring in DeAndre Jordan because he's their friend, to get rid of a good coach in Atkinson, to get rid of a good player in Jared Allen. They're the ones that push for this time and time again. And you guys allow them to be these malcontents. So you have to take what comes with that. You can't, we're not going to trade you till we get every ounce of value back. That's not how life works. When you make a mistake, you have to pay for it. So, hey, get KD out of town, bring in Jaylen Brown, who's a young player. Hopefully he has some upside. A pick, Derek White, get a pick from the Lakers, and move on. You've rebuilt before. After the Boston trade fiasco, rebuild again. For Boston, who are the prohibitive favorites on all the sporting betting outlets, they're obviously looking at their situation like, hey, last year wasn't a sign of things to come. Last year was a fluke. We played the Bucks without Middleton. We played Miami hurt, and we barely squeaked by those two series. So let's really look and evaluate ourselves. Can we go forward and say that we're a title contender? And I'm guessing what their ownership is saying is no. So they're going for it now. Now, does that hurt them in the future when Jason Tatum's up for a contract? Does he look around and say the only player that's around here is a 37-year-old KD? Like, why is that attractive to me? Yeah, but they're going for it now. If you win a title, is Jason Tatum going to leave? Probably not. And again, he can get a supermax from the Celtics, so that's a double reason to stay. So it's interesting, but a hell of a move by KD today. I saw some footage of Paulo Banchero and my man DeJounte Murray going at it. I mean, it's funny, because of AAU basketball and all the things that surround basketball now, how young kids play and traveling teams. A lot of these players, they know each other since they're kids. So to have that true competitive nature where you hate players, the Bill Laimbeer days when players were punching each other, the Knicks versus Pacer days when people hated each other, those days are kind of gone. There's a decorum that's followed in the league now that I think started the day that Carmelo Anthony got into that fight, um, and he lost all of his ads and all the stuff that he was doing. He had like a Be Mellow campaign that got taken off the air after he had that fight in the Garden. So I think players have resolved themselves not to fight anymore because it's not worth it. But it's gone so far to the point where all these guys are friends now. But so a little bit of competitive works for me. I like both of these players. I think they're both studs. Um, it's not like the Hawks and the Magic are going to be the new rivalry of the NBA going forward. So, you don't want to go too crazy about this, but hey, I like a little shit talking every once in a while. So it is what it is. Um, I saw this in the football section, more Deshaun Watson nonsense. Um, Trayvon Diggs cut off his social media, said it was too toxic. Wants to get rid of the toxic noise. I said in the Cowboys preview that they're going to have to be more of a balanced team, and it starts with Parsons up front and Diggs on the back end. And is Diggs Antonio Cromartie, where you get a lot of interceptions, but you get beat as well? Or is Diggs Richard Sherman, where I get a lot of interceptions, but I don't get beat? When the foolish attempts for them to throw at me happen when I'm in my prime, I'm taking it. But you don't throw at me because people are not open, right? Because there have been great corners, but there haven't been true ball hawks that have been great corners as well. You haven't seen the tandem of the two. And Richard Sherman was that. So my hope with Trayvon Diggs is that he becomes that. But getting beat by practice squad receivers, and the video footage being leaking, that doesn't shape up for things to come in a positive way. So, I mean, hey, get off social media. I know as a professional athlete, it might be tough, but hopefully he ups his game because that is sad commentary. I saw something today where Russell Wilson is not here. My friend said that he's kind of been underwhelming in camp. With the AFC West, I've said that might be the best division that football's ever produced. But the team that I know that's not going to win is the Broncos. I think he's been washed for a little while. His his game hasn't matched his name for a while. I think he's just been a media darling. And when you're a media darling, they're more apt to overlook your flaws and highlight your successes than vice versa. So I think this is going to be put up or shut up time with Russell Wilson, and I think it's probably going to be the latter. Um, I wanted to talk about this Malcolm Gladwell article before it came out. So Malcolm Gladwell came out um, against working from home, and this caused a lot of controversy. Um, I think that his main thing was that your life is all about being at home now, and that you're physically, it's very hard to feel necessary when you're physically disconnected. Excuse me. And it's hard to join a team when you're not there. And my whole thing is like I get it. Like for a culture standpoint, it's better to have people in the building. You know, friendships inevitably happen where you work together. Affairs happen because people work together too, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, so I get that. You get a culture, you get camaraderie when you work together as a team, when you're in the same place. Even though Zoom is a great technology, there are some conversations that you want to have in public. There is something to be said by being in the same room with someone, the energy that you can get by being in the same room with someone. But at the same time, I think that the pandemic kind of showed us that you don't need to be in the same room to get things done, right? And I think we would have all returned to work if the job market hadn't changed, but the job market has changed now in the sense that now uh, even high paying jobs are looking for people. A lot of people are opting out of the job market, whether it be early retirement, whether it be the generation behind me, Gen Z, refusing to do certain jobs in the service industry, in the restaurant industry. You've seen wages skyrocket in the restaurant industry. I think there was a study that came out that McDonald's workers are being paid $4 more now than they were before the pandemic on average. Um, and a lot of people are opting out. I remember listening to a podcast, and this guy that worked in the restaurant industry, he talked about how the first month after the pandemic, how he started to feel like a better person, how his body wasn't hurting so much, his knees, his back. He thought he had chronic issues with them, and no, he was just standing on his feet too much. And he took walks every night with his wife, and he finished his AAA, and he's working in a different field, and he'll never go back to working in restaurants again. And that story was so congruous for a lot of people. And when the pandemic originally started, a lot of people said, hey, well, all the free money that the government is giving you, that's why people are not working. That's why there's such a job shortage. But even that has changed. You know, the job market is the most robust it's ever been. We're back to pre-pandemic levels of unemployment. And that's with so many places looking for people. I think people got skills during the pandemic, and people made stands during the pandemic that they're not doing certain jobs. And that has trickled up. And I say that to say, to get back to the original argument, you can't force people to go back to work when they have the opportunities not to. If you force certain people to go to work, I've heard dozens of people say, hey, I'll just look for a different job. Everybody's hiring, I'll just find another job. So just saying, it ain't no fun when the rabbit has the gun. The employees have the gun now. You have to increase wages. I remember them talking about a federal minimum wage. The job market has done that on its own. Like I said, McDonald's workers are making $4 more on average than what they were making pre-pandemic. You don't even have to worry about that. Economics has played out, right? Now that the supply is scarce, employers have to struggle more to do it. So, this idea about camaraderie and teamwork and stuff like that, I think these are cool notions. But a lot of people are saying, like, why do I have to give that to a job? Why do I have to, completely buy into this place that hasn't bought into me? And this has parallels to sports, because I think this is what's happened in sports. A lot of people are saying, why should I buy into this team, the Celtics, when the Celtics can trade me at any point in time, right? And I think that's trickled down to everything in comedy. You as loyal as your options. That's what Chris Rock says. And now everybody has options. Even low skilled workers can get $4, can get $16, $18 an hour, right? So the loyalty is different, right? So why would I remember, commuting when I worked at Chase Bank, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, paying gas, eating bad food because I'm in a break room and working in, cities that I didn't want to be in. And now I'm home. I see my kids in the morning. I see them when they leave. A lot of people are the same. I get to spend time in my home with my family, the home that I pay so much for. These bills, all this working we do is to pay for something, right? But we're never there. We spend more time. I remember working at AT&T and being told this: you spend more time at home at work than you do with your kids, right? That's changed now. So why would someone want to go back? So I get what he's saying. We are becoming more insular. That like I saw, like, these VR headsets and shit like that. There's this whole idea that the whole world is going to start using them for all types of things. And my thing with that is, you know, that again is going to make us more insular. And there's something about connecting with each other. I think that a lot of the angst in the world right now is because people are so disconnected. And if people got together a little bit, you can start to, wipe away prejudices and, misinformation. And you can start seeing as your fellow human being as a human being, not just some troll on the internet. So I get that, but what did Nino tell us homie at the end of the New Jack City? It can never go back to the way it was. I just wanted to go back to the way it was. That's what he told him. That's what G Money told him. And what did Nino tell him? It can never go back to the way it was. It's never going back to the way it was. So I know that, this is going to be one of those things that, people of a different generation, it's unfathomable that, we'll work from home and not commute and not do team things. Like I've been working at this new place and I've seen them on Zoom. I've never met anybody in person in my life. I mean, it's fine to me. It's not the same as before, but it's fine to me. So, it is what it is. But I just thought this would be an interesting conversation. And I think it does bleed into sports because I think people are asking themselves the same questions of these athletes. Why am I being loyal to these companies when they're not loyal to me? So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. I'm gonna try to have these videos out midweek and have a steady stream of them. That's the way that I've been growing the channel, and I've kind of been half-stepping. I just had a lot of personal stuff going on, but we're gonna get back to business here. The game is a game. Thanks for rocking me. Go. All right, thank you for watching this clip. Do me a favor, push the button, hit subscribe. Come on, man, push it.
Call everybody up! Push the goddamn button! Push the goddamn button! You heard what she said.
And do what's right. You heard her. Push the button. The game is a game.
So what's up, man? What's up with you otherwise, The game is a game. Always.